Grab your big book, your pen, your highlighter, and notepad and get ready to hear and apply some of the solution from the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous through the experience, strength, and hope of Nikki M. To have a question addressed in a future episode of Noodle It Out with Nikki, please send an email to noodlewithnikki@gmail.com, and Nikki is spelled with 2 Ks. To get a more interactive experience with Nikki as she noodles out life and recovery questions using the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, you can get a link to her weekly Noodle It Out with Nikki meeting held live on Zoom every Monday morning at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. The information to that meeting is in the show notes of this podcast. God morning, God afternoon, and God evening to all out there. My name is Justin B. I am a son of an all-powerful and all-loving God and a recovering addict. Super grateful to be here and to be the steward of the Rico 12 project. I'm sitting here today as we record the Noodle It Out with Nikki podcast with Nikki M, the intelligent agent, spearhead of God's ever-advancing creation, and my co-host and someone who works with me also on the Big Book Roundtable with David G. It's awesome to sit with her and have these conversations. Nikki, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what's going on today.
Hi, everybody, and I'm Nikki M, and I'm just so grateful to be a member of Rico 12. And I want to thank anybody out there who's part of this family. I would just want to obsess about gratitude. I know some people give some big sevens. We've seen them. You guys give little things, and that's amazing. Small, big, large, just being part of. This is what we were so freely given to you. So if you are out there and you've given a seventh or you're thinking about it, we just want you to know that we appreciate it. I also want to mention I'm not a saint. Okay. That's what my big book says. So just so if you think we're out there and I'm perfect, that's a big no. Page 60 says, I'm not a saint, and I'm happy with that. Thanks, Justin.
And thank you, Nikki. And I appreciate that because, and if anybody thinks I'm a saint out there too, it's a big fat no also. Doing the best I can, walking this path, experiencing the miracles of recovery as I practice these principles in all my affairs. It's a beautiful thing, but I'm still not perfect. All right. And Nikki, like you said, we have received all sorts of donations, and it's really cool. And I am grateful for all of them. I think the smallest one I've received was like 23 cents from some African nation. That's awesome. I mean, that's like the widow's mite from the New Testament, given all they have. And I've received stuff over $100 also, which is amazing. Whatever you have, if you feel that your higher power is pressing on you to share and make a seventh contribution, we are very grateful for that. All right. So let's get into our question. Once again, what we do with Noodle It Out with Nikki is we take an everyday or a question we have from our everyday recovery, whether it's from somebody in our networks that we sponsor or somebody who comes to the Noodle It Out with Nikki meeting on Monday mornings at 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern time. You can join those live. We bring a question here and dive deep into the Big Book with Nikki as we seek a solution from the Big Book. Today's question is as follows. I am obsessing about cocaine, and we'll use cocaine in this because this is what this person brought. I am obsessing about cocaine. I'm sober, but I'm still obsessing, and I don't know why. Help. Nikki, what does the book say?
As always, the book has so much to say, but what does Nikki M have to say about that? Well, I know what I have to say about this because I want to give a little background. This person is sober. This person's been sober about 3 years. This person is sponsoring. Okay. But this person called me this morning and said, I'm obsessing about cocaine, and said, I don't know why. And my head, I paused him right there. See, again, I'm armed with the facts. And he's not my sponsee. He's my grand sponsee, but now we're commencing, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, I don't know why. I froze. If anyone is old enough to have ever seen The Exorcist and the head spinning, that's what happened to me. My head started spinning. Green stuff started coming out of my ears and my orifices of my mouth. And then I cleared it out and I said, page 62. I said, you don't know why? Page 62. You read this with your sponsees, and your sponsors read this with you, and you hang out with me, so you know why. You're selfish and you're self-centered. That's why you're obsessing about cocaine, because the other week you were obsessing about a person. Okay. And because you and I work in that beauty industry, well, you do, and I'm just obsessed. I don't work in any industry. I put myself wherever I am with people. It's like, because you work in that industry, that fabulous hairdresser. And I said, you're obsessed with looks. So that's going to be your obsession next week. You know, it's always going to be something. Because why? Keep your fingers, everybody, on page 62, but let's go deeper. Page 23 says we have an obsessive, or it says it centers in our mind. See, this is where the disease centers, in our obsession of the mind, the obsession of the mind, the obsession of me, me, me. So when this person said, I'm obsessing about cocaine, and everyone insert what I'm obsessing about my daughter, because this person I had seen yesterday, okay, Justin, and he brought his mother to this meeting. And the mom looked at me, and I guess somehow they listened to Noodle together. And the mom's like, "Oh, I love you, Nikki, and thank you." And I said, and she goes, I've been so worried about my son. Mom, he's not your son. He's a grown adult, 30 something, but you're obsessing about worry. That's not your job. I mean, all that juju is not even good for anybody. All that energy, that's the fear energy. Everyone go deep. We're in a spirit world. Like, that's not good. That frequency, that energy, that vibration. Now, ask me if I would have talked like that even 2 years ago. Nope. But I'm seeking God. So I'm seeking that frequency, that vibration, that altruistic plane that our book talks about in the beginning. Okay, in the beginning of the book, and I can't find the page right now for it says altruistic. We live life on an altruistic plane. But when he said, I don't know why, it's like, because you're selfish and self-centered. And it says that, I'm on page 62, everyone, that we think, come on, that we know is the root of our trouble. So when your sponsee goes, I don't know why, it's like, we read this already. Because you're driven. That's why. You're not driven. Remember, God lives inside of you. So you're not driven by your love, by your patience, by your peace, by your compassion, the fruits of the Spirit. That's not what drives you. You're driven by, let's do the math here, Justin, too, because there's a lot of smart people on the program. Driven by 100 forms of fear. You're driven by 100 forms of fear, comma. That means you're driven by 100 forms of self-delusion. So that's 200 forms of something right there. How are you getting out of bed each day? Seriously, everybody, wake yourself up, because this is happening not only for me and Justin and the person who's asking this question. This is happening, I dare say, the human race. I mean, I'm a soul surgeon now. I don't care. Nikki, where'd you get your degree? Right here in Alcoholics Anonymous. I got a PhD from the School of Hard Knocks, and I'm still working for one more of those degrees. Okay, here it is. Driven by 100 forms of self-seeking. See, you don't know how to sit alone. You don't know how to be at perfect peace and ease alone, is what the book says. And you've worked these steps a few times. You sponsor, you know how to do this. You're driven by 100 forms of self-pity. And, I'm looking at this person. I was with him yesterday. His mom was there. Like, this is a beautiful human. I mean, everything you can want. Talented, talented. But as I use this scenario, your first day on the job, you're not good at it. You're not good. This person, is in the beauty industry, does hair or whatever. Come on. Everybody's been to a hair salon. If you've worked in a hair salon, first day, like think about a hairdresser, or your first day as a waitress. I like to say it. I'm going to go hard here. I said it on the program. My first day as a stripper, as a burlesque entertainer, was a hot mess, Justin. 7 years later, hey, I could work that pole. Okay. I mean, you just learn, you just get better. And I could manipulate people better by year 7. Me and my friends could roll a guy for one song and it's over. We're walking out for the night. You understand? Like, this is serious stuff. So I wasn't good the first night. I'm like, help me. What do I do? Someone's like, take a shot of tequila and get up there. Really, like this is serious stuff. It's not an overnight matter. I digress into weird things. I'm sorry, everyone, if you're listening. I digress, but let's go back to why I'm thinking about cocaine. I'm thinking about money, and I don't know why, because this is what drives you. 400 forms of this madness. Now let's go further. I'm thinking of cocaine. I'm thinking of him. Nikki, I've had this call. I'm married. I have 8 children. And I could get rid of heroin way easier than I can my mistress. I cannot stop thinking about her. You understand. And at this point, he's not even acting out with any of it. This is the obsession. And I know it because I was going to kill my lover for going with another person and not me. Here we go. The obsession. Here it is, page 63. I'm going to repeat the question. I'm going to be on repeat. Nikki's a parrot today. I'm thinking about, the world ending, and I don't know why, Nikki, because top paragraph, page 63, you didn't take a sincere position. You did not sincerely. Come on, everybody. Sincere. No half measures, not half-heartedly. The book says wholeheartedly. This does not come at first. Everyone's like, I took my step 3 decision. I don't even think I took it, Justin, really until COVID hit. And I've been in the rooms 12 years because I was, literally when they say your balls to the walls, I had no choice. I had nowhere to go. I had lost everything, Justin, and I was not going to do what the government ordered. I lost my job. I lost the right to go everywhere. Everyone knows my little story. And I had to take a sincere position in that moment to live for God. And when they banned unvaccinated people from the hospital, and my 90-something-year-old auntie, she's 95 now, Justin, with dementia, was in the hospital, and I'm her power of attorney. I thought, and I'll never forget that moment. I left the hospital. I said, Auntie, I love you. I really trusted God. And I looked at the subway. Sorry, the streetcar was coming. I'm like, do I jump in front of the streetcar or do I serve God? I had to take a sincere position because at that point, I wasn't even allowed in people's homes. But then when I took that sincere position, all sorts of remarkable things started to happen. Remember, Justin, I flew first class last year on my 50th birthday. I was patient. I trusted God. I came into the Noodle studio, which is right here in my bedroom. And, I think that's when the podcast was born. That was, in the depths of COVID. I think that's when Noodle with Nikki really, our weekly meeting was really born years ago, I created a Wednesday night meeting for Sex and Love Anonymous that was in person. And that's still online, everybody. And everyone's still out there. It's a big book sponsorship meeting. And that was, God put that on my heart and it's still going. But I took a sincere position and remarkable things happen. And let's go deeper, everybody, because we're back to the question. I'm obsessing about this and that. Did you take a sincere position to live for God? See, let's go deeper. Page 44.
So, hey, Nikki, I want to jump in here real quick before we go to page 44.
Because I'm drifting out. So pause.
Yes, something that, did I take a sincere position for God? I could, if I'm obsessing about cocaine, if I'm obsessing about whatever it is I'm obsessing about, I can honestly look back and say, yeah, I did yesterday, last week, last month, last year, whenever it was. But did I take that position for God today? Did I make that decision today? And I think if I'm obsessing on cocaine in this instance, I probably did not take a sincere, but in fact, I know I did not take a sincere position on that today. And so maybe that's when I need to start that day and say, you know what, right now I am going to take a sincere position that I work for God, that God is my employer. God is all powerful and he provides what I need, even sufficient to not obsess about cocaine at this moment as I turn my will and my life over to his care. Thoughts on that before we move on to page 44?
Yeah, because actually that page will close us out because I want to turn to page 85. This is the exact thought because you were reading my mind, Justin. Remember right before earlier when we met, you're like, how's your weekend? I said, we all have gifts. You were telling me one of yours and I was telling you one of mine. You can read mine because I wanted to say every day. And that takes me, where is that in the book, Nikki? It's on page 85, everybody. Let's turn there. It says every day. You read that, Justin, because you see that's in the middle paragraph. It's halfway down. And that's exactly what you said to me. And Nikki, I mean, I can take that sincere position, and, you and I have been here over a decade and we've taken the step 3 decision many times, but every day are you taking, you read that part.
Yeah. So what it reads is every day, the middle of page 85, every day is a day when we must carry the vision of God's will into all of our activities. How can I best serve thee? Thy will, not mine, be done. And I think, even the next sentence I think is really powerful here. These are thoughts which must go with us constantly. And as I have those thoughts constantly, and not perfectly, I'm not a saint. I don't have these thoughts constantly, but as I turn my thoughts to them when the obsession comes up, then I can feel that reprieve. I will be granted that daily reprieve, sufficient strength to move through that obsession and work for God. Any thoughts you have on that further, Nikki?
Yeah, I want to say something to that too about every day, not just to work for God. Are you making a decision every day? Because I have worked with my sponsor for 8 years, okay, and he eats my soul. I probably eat his a lot too. But the other day he was speaking on a meeting, and I went out to hear this spearhead, and he said, because he'll say every day your step 3 decision. And if you go to his workshop, you'll hear him say it's a spiritual baptism, but I'm going to go deeper. He said this and it blew my head off. Are you making a step 3 decision every day to be a member of this program? Whoa, that Justin, I mean that really, because I thought about that. What does it mean to show up as a member of this program? That's not easy either. Because I got eyes. See, when you're in the center of the herd, you got eyes on you. You got eyes on you, Justin. What Justin B saying? How's he presenting? What's he doing out? Like we have our eyes on us. We're accountable to a lot of people. So I have to walk this walk and talk this talk. Why? So every day I have to make a step 3 decision to do God's business, not my business. I have to take a sincere position to be a member of this fellowship because why? And just the top of the paragraph where we are here, it is easy to let up on a spiritual program of action. We're still in that same paragraph. We're just reading it backwards on page 85. It's easy to let up on a spiritual program of action and rest on our laurels, get complacent, get compliant, get lazy. And there's your warning, everybody. We're headed for trouble if we do, because this obsessive, compulsive thinking mind, this alcoholism disease that we are in the grip of a progressive illness, we get worse, never better, is a subtle foe. We're not cured of alcoholism, of the selfishness and self-centeredness, of the driven by 400 forms of madness. What we really have is a daily reprieve contingent on the maintenance of our spiritual condition. And then it goes into every day. And I'm going to take us to page 45, and then I'll let you take us out right here with the final thought on page 45, Justin, because this is what we're really doing every day. Person who called me, and it says, no, sorry, it is page 44. Sorry, it is page 44. And it's the 1-2 second paragraph down. Because remember the question at the top of this little chat that we're having, this little noodle it out with Nikki and Justin B session. I'm obsessing about fill in the blank and I don't know what to do. Or I don't know why. Because here, this is why, friends, to be doomed to an alcoholic and addict death or to live on a spiritual basis are not always easy alternatives to face. I don't know why I'm crying so much, Justin, because to go and live, I can never go and live that life again. But to live on a spiritual basis every day is not easy. The book says it, Justin, on page 14. Simple but not easy. A price has to be paid. And so these are not always easy alternatives when they look the same. To live my life how I once lived it, asleep, selfish and self-centered, blotting out the consciousness of my existence. To be asleep in life or to be wide awake, being a soldier of God. Think about that. Let me mute and so I can put a smile on my face.
Thank you so much, Nikki. You know, some of the thoughts that come to my mind with this obsessing about whatever it may be, you know, some days I obsess about, well, here's something that I find myself easily obsessing about: sports. I find myself easily obsessing about, plant medicine. I need psilocybin. That will be my solution. You know, it'll clear up my mind. I obsess about these things and it draws me. Are they bad things? Maybe, maybe not. But if I am obsessing on them, they are not healthy for me. If I'm not obsessing on the power that is great enough to bring me through these obsessions, I'm obsessing on the wrong thing. I am putting myself in that throne of that capital P power and trying to make myself that power. And I've proven to myself way too many times that the power that I have is a small P power, and that is not strong enough to bring me through. So, Nikki, thank you so much for addressing this. If you out there are obsessing on anything that is not the solution with a capital S, turn your heads, turn your hearts, turn your direction to that capital P power. That power will provide you what you need to get through that obsession. And that power loves you because you're worth it. Keep at it.